Welcome back to Johnny's Scramble Drill. This is the conference championship weekend edition. I'm Stucky. Joining me as always, none other than Johnny Manziel. For this week's edition, we will go through all four Power Conference championship games and get Johnny's thoughts. Let's start with the Big 12 championship between Arizona State and Iowa State. Not many would have picked this matchup before the season started. This game will be in Jerry World. Arizona State, small favorite. Johnny, who do you like?
I like Arizona State in this game. I think you have to go with the team who's playing the best ball right now, who's been on a little bit of a streak. They're running the ball really well, still doing enough through the pass game to be able to, to be able to function and be able to move the ball at a highly successful rate. I really just think they have the juice right now to be able to go through and win this conference. I think if you would have said at the beginning of the season you're going to see Arizona State in here, you would have got a bunch of people that would have told you you're crazy. But with the way they played this year, Kenny Dillingham and the squad, he's got them ready to play. I don't think this is just a fluke team on them being here.
All right, let's move on to the SEC championship. By the way, we'll see how much the loss of Jordan Tyson, Arizona State's star receiver, means to that offense, and if they can, their other receivers can pick up the slack. But let's move on to the SEC championship game between Georgia and Texas. Not, I know you're probably not enthused to talk Texas after they ended Texas A&M's college football playoff chances last week. Texas, small favorite here in Atlanta, looking for revenge from a loss earlier this season on their home field. That was Georgia's best performance, especially defensively of the year. Other than that game, just very inconsistent on a game-to-game basis within games, half to half. Who do you like here?
I'm going to go with Georgia again. I think it's anytime you go and you beat a team the way that they did earlier in the season, you have to go into this game with an extreme amount of confidence. Obviously, Texas wants to try and get back and get a little bit of revenge from earlier this season, but just the way they played in that game, it was dominant early on a defensive front by Georgia. Really had Texas kind of scrambling, moving in Arch Manning. Really didn't look like themselves. Now, obviously, they played a little bit better in the second half. We've seen Georgia struggles throughout the season, but I think, with everything being said, if Georgia can still play the way they have this year and go into it with one game to be able to win the SEC, I still like them to be able to do it.
All right, let's move on to the Big Ten championship between Penn State and Oregon. Another surprise team here in Penn State who probably didn't anticipate being here, but due to Michigan's shocking upset win over Ohio State, it is Penn State that goes to Indianapolis to take on Oregon. Sitting around 3.5 point favorite are the Ducks at the time that we record this. Johnny, who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Ducks. I really like Dylan Gabriel and the way he's played this year. I think, they're obviously a really fast, efficient team on offense. Now, Penn State, we've seen them look good. We've seen them, obviously struggle a little bit at times throughout the season, but I'm all in on the Ducks on this one. I think they close out and win this title.
Interesting nugget here. If Oregon loses, they'd almost certainly be the 5 seed, which could end up being an easier path than the 1 seed with how the bracket is constructed. But we'll see how it works out for the only remaining undefeated team in the country in the Oregon Ducks. And then finally, let's close things out with the ACC championship game. Again, another surprising team, Clemson. Didn't anticipate they were going to be here after they went down to South Carolina, but Miami gets upset by Syracuse to continue this chaotic season, which put Clemson into the ACC championship game, which will take place in Charlotte against SMU. Clemson wins, they're in. Does SMU still stay in? I don't know. If SMU wins, Alabama probably moves into the field. This one going to have a lot of eyes on it. SMU, small favorite here, under a field goal. Johnny, who do you got?
I'm going with SMU. I like the way they've been playing this year. I think they play with an unbelievable amount of swagger on this team. I think for them to be able to get into this position and play, a Clemson team who obviously, in the past has a lot more experience of playing in this game. Dabo Swinney, a lot more experience playing in this game. I don't know what it is, but I really like SMU. I think this has been a great season for them, and I think they're going to cap it off the right way.
Yeah, Dabo has won 8 straight ACC championship games. And Yeah, I could see this going either way. SMU's schedule's been soft, but they've been dominant. Clemson's played some tougher teams, but every time they stepped up in class, they haven't came away with a victory. So a lot of intrigue there in a game that will decide at least one college football playoff berth. That'll do it for Johnny. He's going with Arizona State, Cam Scatabo, Georgia
Georgia.
beating Texas again, the Ducks in Indianapolis, and SMU. Alabama fans will be happy to hear that. Thanks for joining me, Johnny. Next week, we're off with just one bowl game and the Army Navy game, but I'll see you later on in bowl season and for the first edition of the college football playoff games the week thereafter. Good luck this weekend. Enjoy the games and have a great weekend.
You as well, buddy.
Cheers.